About a week ago, from the time of this recording at least, Jurassic World Rebirth launched in theaters, and I went and saw it, and I was like, hey, this is actually pretty fun. And I was going, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go through, and I'm going to rewatch all of the Jurassic Park movies, and watch Dominion for the first time. And I was like, you know what, I want to go ahead and rank all of these. So I want to go ahead, and today I'm going to rank all of the Jurassic movies, from Jurassic Park to Jurassic World Rebirth. And yeah, so let's get started. So in last place, number 7th, is Jurassic World Dominion. This is easily the worst Jurassic. It's not even a Jurassic World movie. It's not even. It really isn't. It doesn't follow any of the things that you would want from a Jurassic movie. It is basically a. I mean, it's closer to like a Mission Impossible movie than a Jurassic World movie. I mean, it's basically the entire movie is like corporate espionage. And they've got the whole plot is about the InGen competitor wants to take over the world by limiting the food supplies so that only the food supply only comes from biosyn seeds and whatnot, because they're destroying off all the other crops using giant locusts. And also at a certain point, it just kind of becomes overbearing, because one thing you really can't do with the Jurassic movies is have too many characters that can't die, because at one point, you know, you've got Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, the clone child, Chris Pratt, Claire, and you've got 6 or 7 characters. I think there might even be a couple more, but there's 6 or 7 characters, all together, and then they try to do some of the stuff like the T-Rex sniffing next to the car, and there's on the other side of the car there's 7 people, and it's this really doesn't work. The tension and how close the calls are just really don't work when there's 7 or 8 people. And it's and you've got to slowly, and then you get people up a ladder, and then you've got to okay, so how does the dinosaur not get them? And so then you have to kind of create these BS reasons for why the dinosaur doesn't get them, because none of these people can die because they're all main characters, and there's so many main characters that it just stops being believable. So really, the dinosaur stuff really comes very second, third fiddle to the whole plot of the story. It's not even about dinosaurs, really. There's just dinosaurs there, and Claire and Owen, their entire plot is just trying to get their clone daughter back. Well, adopted clone daughter back, but they're trying to get her back, and then Ellie Sattler and Alan Grant, their entire plot is proving that biosyn is the ones who are responsible for the locusts, and that's basically it. So I don't know. It just really wasn't all that good of a movie. It didn't have any of the Jurassic anything to it. It didn't feel anything like a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movie. And speaking of which, number 6 is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It's another one. These two are the only ones that actually, because there's a couple different plots in the Jurassic franchise. Actually, there's 2 different plots in the Jurassic franchise. There is the park, and then there is going back to an island that is full of dinosaurs. And these 2 are the only 2 that don't do those plots, but also they're the ones that kind of suck the most, because there really isn't much of that dino action that you're looking for when you go to a Jurassic movie. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, you're okay, you're sold on the premise of you're trying to get some dinos off an island because there is a volcano. So great visuals, the volcano on a dino island, great. Except barely anything, that is a very small segment of that movie. The first bit is they're there's this volcano going off, and we're trying to get to the volcano, or trying to get back to the island to get the dinosaurs off, and then they get onto the island, and then they find Blue, and then basically at that like very shortly after they get on the island, and they find the raptor that they're looking for. That's when everything starts happening, like all the volcano stuff and everything like that. Dinos are dying. Everybody's running off the island. And then we're on a totally different movie for the rest of it. And so you don't really get any of that, I don't know, dino suspense or anything that you're looking for on the dino island when you get there. You don't really get it because, I mean, you get a little bit of dino action, a little bit here and there, but it's mostly overshadowed by like, we need to get out now. Like we need to run. And like, there's not really that trapped feeling, you know? And then the rest of the movie is takes place in like the basement of a mansion, and it's auctions, and it just really isn't very good. It just, you know, like, and then with this movie, you've got your second bioengineered animal, and you have the Indoraptor, and I think what works better with Jurassic World when they did it is it was a looming threat over the entire movie, versus the Indoraptor just kind of pops up at the end as like, boo, you know, scared ya. We're doing this now. So it just is there for a short period of time, and cool sequences in there, but overall not too great. Number 5, I would put Jurassic Park 3, and at this point, now we're in these. So now we've gone through the kind of 2 experimental ones that weren't very good. Now we're going into the going to the island movies. And Jurassic Park 3, I don't think is actually a terrible movie. Really, from this point on, they're not really bad movies. Jurassic Park 3 is probably the weakest, most simplistic, not really much going on throughout the entire thing. You know, watching through it, I'm like, Alan Grant, he's like, there's nothing on heaven or earth that could get me back onto Isla Sorna. And then he's offered several $1,000s. It's unknown exactly how much he was offered, but he was basically offered a bunch of money to go be a tour guide. And then, oh, he's on the island again. I don't even know why he was willing to go fly over the thing. Like, come on, dude. Like, anyways, it's an entertaining enough movie. It is very watchable. It's just not that great. It's just, you know, not as good as the other ones, you know. So Jurassic Park 3, pretty simplistic. Although the aviary scene and the Spinosaurus is pretty cool. I like the use of the satellite phone that goes inside that the Spinosaurus eats, and then it's used at this plot point a couple times in the movie. So I like that. That was pretty cool. It was interesting that they had the parents of the kid. He was like, they pretended to be this rich couple, which they were very convincing as a rich couple. And then it turns out, like, no, they're actually not. And they kind of had to lie about a few things to get people to get Alan Grant there. So anyways, so that would be number 5. So that'd be number 4. We have Jurassic World Rebirth is my number 4 movie. And this one, is it fantastic? It's all right. It's entertaining. And the reason I liked this one more than Jurassic Park 3 was actually specifically because there were some sequences that really still stand out in my memory as, you know, some pretty entertaining sequences. I'm not going to talk any spoilers about Jurassic World Rebirth here. Like, it was an entertaining enough movie. This is another one where you have a mutant. This one kind of looks more like a rancor mixed with a beluga whale. It kind of, like, there's a lot of stupid stuff with it. And that one should have been more of like I think something that Jurassic Park 3 gets, actually really all the Jurassic Park movies get and Jurassic World gets, is having the big meat-eating dinosaur, like your big super predator of the movie, have it be a looming threat over the entire movie, which means you have to introduce it early on, and it has to be an apparent threat to the characters early on. Because if it's not, then you get like a Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom situation where you have the Indoraptor, and it's like, it's not a threat until it gets out at the end. But like here, like in Jurassic Park 3, you've got like the Spinosaurus, like it is like shortly after they get on to the island, the Spinosaurus is there, and it's hunting them throughout the entire movie. So you always have something that's chasing you throughout the entire movie. And in Rebirth, I kind of wish they had that with the D-Rex. I kind of wish it was like they introduced it in the like opening scene. Like, great, okay. Even though it's kind of a stupid way to introduce it, but oh well. Like they started off with that horror element. It's like, okay, cool, awesome. And then they bring in that D-Rex just at the end. Instead of it being like a looming threat that's hunting them throughout the entire movie, they just kind of bring it in at the end. So that's a pretty unfortunate thing that they did. But overall, I just found it as a pretty entertaining movie. Just really overall, pretty entertaining movie. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Although when I was watching it in the theater, me and a friend were basically making bets on who would live and who would die, because we'd be like, oh, this guy's gonna die, this guy's gonna die, these people are gonna live, this whole family's gonna live. I think, yeah. So we were kind of doing that, and just kind of like, because at this point, it is pretty formulaic. It's like, okay, you can kind of get a sense of who's gonna live and who's gonna die just based on characterizations, I guess. So formulaic, yes. Entertaining, yes. Great movie? No, it's whatever. But it's a very watchable, entertaining movie. And my number 3 pick is The Lost World: Jurassic Park. And out of all of the sequels that are like people go back to an island, I think this one's the most solid. I think The Lost World is really the most solid one. I really couldn't find anything really wrong with it. Like, I was like, I mean, obviously going back to the island's pretty stupid, but they gave Ian Malcolm a pretty decent reason to get on there. And from then on, things just kind of seem to move in a pretty cool way. And, I've got really no complaints about it. And I think it's I think it's a pretty good sequel, pretty good follow-up to Jurassic Park. So as far as The Lost World goes, I was like, wow, because like from what I remembered, because I watched The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 probably like 7 years ago. I only watched it like one time, like 7 or 8 years ago. Watched it one time, and so I remember like there being a big drop off between Jurassic Park and then their sequels, and I wasn't really wrong. There is a pretty big drop off, but it doesn't mean they're bad. They're still pretty solid and pretty entertaining. So Lost World is actually pretty good. Number 2 is going to be Jurassic World. I actually really enjoy Jurassic World, mainly because the park concept of like opening the park and everything like that. I thought that was really cool. They have, it's science fiction at this point. All the technology they have. The movie's a decade old. Honestly, it's odd. It's kind of crazy to think about, but really, I mean, having been like, okay, so they did 3 more, and then to kind of restart the series, they're like, hey, what if we open the park? What if they actually opened the park? What if John Hammond's vision came true? And honestly, it was great to see. I thought it was great. Like, the whole thing felt like a modern day amusement park. It looked great. Like, it was great. And then you had the Indominus Rex, which is the first of the mutants. And it was like the looming threat over everything, and it kind of really did feel like it's like, oh my gosh, this thing could be anywhere. It's immediate, like if you come in contact with this thing, you're probably gonna die. And so it was very much that looming threat, and that was very good. So I think it executed everything very well, but wasn't quite as amazing as our number 1, Jurassic Park. Honestly, I do not think you could make a dinosaur movie as good as Jurassic Park. Or at least, at the very least, you can't make another Jurassic movie in this world as good as Jurassic Park. Because it has that awe and wonder. Like, it starts off like you're bringing people in to see this, oh wow, this really cool place, these dinosaurs, and seeing the paleontologist and the paleobotanist being like, oh my gosh, we're seeing the things that they've been digging up in real life for the first time. That is mind-blowing. and it's, you know, seeing those reactions and the awe and wonder of that, and then the talking about the philosophical aspect of it, like this whole thing, and then it starts going to the horror of it. And honestly, I think it was a couple years ago I started watching through a bunch of horror movies for the first time, because I wanted to get a sense of what horror movies were. And then after I'd watched like all these horror movies, I went and watched Jurassic Park, and I was like, this movie was more suspenseful than all these horror movies, for me at least. But like, it still is a pretty suspenseful movie, and I think it's just because it's very well written, very well directed, and of course Steven Spielberg brought these dinosaurs to life in a way that was very convincing and very well done. Personally, I do not think that there's really going to be any kind of Jurassic movie as good as Jurassic Park. I don't think it's even possible at this point. I honestly don't. It would be great to see something that was like really, 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 really good as Jurassic Park, but I honestly don't think that's really possible. I don't know. It's a thing that it's like, I think just the kind of story where it's just like a very unique, one-of-a-kind story. So, but yeah, that is my ranking for all of the Jurassic movies. Let me know down in the comments below if you liked any movies better than I did, or if any of the movies would be lower on your list. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.